Going on, boxing fans? It's John Williams with the Distance. Here with a video today for a fight takes place March the 27th. It's the return of Erik Morales. Erik Morales versus Jose Alfaro. The match takes place at 142. Catchweight. Morales hadn't been in the ring in almost 3 years, and Alfaro, was actually his last fight was at lightweight against Antonio DeMarco, which ended in a knockout. But anyway, this is the return of Erik Morales. Perhaps one of the best Mexican champions ever. I think he might want to come back to try to get that 4th championship, the same way that Marco Antonio Barrera, he was coming back for that 4th championship in another weight class. So Erik Morales, coming back 142. Seen pictures of him like in 2008, a year after his career had ended, and he was up to maybe 170 pounds, probably more than that, but he looked huge. In that picture I seen, it was him, it was Alexis Arguello, and Marco Antonio Barrera, I think, was in the picture as well, and he was huge. But I guess 142 may be a good weight to come down to for Morales. Probably training hard to get down to that weight. And 40 pounds, really is really nothing, to be quite honest. I lost about, believe it or not, I used to nearly weigh 300 pounds, but 40 pounds is nothing. I'll probably weigh around 145 now, so 40 pounds is really nothing. Anyway, onto the fight. Jose Alfaro does a very good job of standing on the outside and trying to come into the inside with his shots. But see, the problem with Jose Alfaro is he doesn't work his way to the inside. He comes from the outside. He comes in, throws a 1-2, and he goes back out. Does a very good job of it. In this fight against Erik Morales, he needs to be very busy early in this fight, considering the fact that Morales had not been in the ring in nearly 3 years. That alone, gives Alfaro an advantage. See, if Alfaro comes in and he has a very high work rate, in the opening rounds of the fight, he can steal rounds away from Morales just by that alone. Now, I'm very sure that Morales has been sparring and stuff to shake the ring rust off, but at the same time, it's not the same as being in the ring. Being in the ring for an actual fight. Alfaro needs to actually rough up and fight Erik Morales in the opening rounds. He needs to work. He really needs to work and stay busy in the opening rounds. See, in the opening rounds, Alfaro needs to be busy in the opening rounds. So, and then when, say, Morales adjusts to it, Alfaro could go back to his normal style of staying on the outside and working his way in. 1-2 and back out, 1-2 back out. It's really what Alfaro does best. That's really what Alfaro needs to do in this fight. Because really that's how his style is. Either he could work, on the inside, or he works from the outside, moving on the inside, whatever. So that's really what Alfaro needs to do in this fight in order to win. He needs to work. He needs to make it a fast-paced fight at first. He needs to really maintain it, and say Morales adjusts to it, that's when he goes to his normal style, his normal routine, because Morales is going to be used to Alfaro coming in. So now Alfaro can go to the outside and time Erik Morales possibly coming in. But really, that's what Alfaro needs to do in this fight in order to win. Erik Morales, perhaps one of the fiercest fighters of all time, one of the fiercest, big puncher. In this fight, he definitely needs to pretty much play the role of counter puncher in this fight. Something that I thought was a bit underrated was the skill of Erik Morales. A lot of people talk about, such as myself just now, talk about, wow, he's such a fierce competitor. But Erik Morales had great timing. He can time you very well coming in. If you come on the inside against Erik Morales, more than likely he's going to hit you either the left or the right hook if you're not prepared, or or say, he did a good job of seeing a fundamental flaw of a fighter. Though he had times where he was suckered into a fight, or he turned fights, box matches into fights. He was one of the masters at that. In this fight, something that really needs to dictate the pace for Erik Morales is the left jab. The left jab being that Alfaro cannot protect himself from the left jab. He's always been open to a left jab, especially with how his hands are positioned. I think that Erik Morales in this fight needs to pretty much establish his jab, in the fight. I think that if he sets up his jab, it's gonna set up his. If he uses the jab, it's gonna set up his power shots. That he tends to throw quite a bit or quite often. I think that throwing the left jab and on top of that, other than throwing the left jab, throwing combinations, and other than that, constant movement. I think a lot of movement will be a lot of trouble for Alfaro, because with Alfaro's style, he doesn't like fighters that move. He likes stationary targets. He likes people that just stand there. And other than that, I think that if Morales could time Alfaro coming in with that style that he has of being on the outside and coming in, I think that if Morales times him right, hits him with the right hook, I think that it will stun and hurt Jose Alfaro. With that being said, I'm not sure what to expect from this fight. I'm really not, due to the fact that Morales has not been in the ring in nearly 3 years, never fought this weight class, and honestly, and other than never being at this weight class, being up so much in weight for the last 3 years, could it take its toll on Morales' body? And other than it taking its toll on Morales' body, with that being said, along with Alfaro, who's been knocked out in his last fight, and has actually been knocked out before, another time before. I'm not sure of any other time he's been knocked out, but I'm sure of 2 fights where Alfaro's been knocked out. And in those fights, Alfaro, before he was knocked out, he was hurt. I think that if Erik Morales hurts Jose Alfaro, he's going to get the knockout. My prediction for this fight, I predict that Erik Morales knocks out Jose Alfaro in probably about 8 rounds. I'm going to go with Erik Morales in this fight, because I do think that we may not see the best Erik Morales, but we're going to still see a game competitive Erik Morales. I think that maybe Alfaro wins the early rounds, but I think that Morales comes forward and he gets the victory in probably the 8th round. I'm going to go with Erik Morales 8th round knockout. I think he's going to knock out. Either he's going to knock him out or he's going to make Alfaro quit. But anyway, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.